Let's take a look at yesterday's action. Okay, so what we like to do is we like to look for retracements, buying or selling retracements with our 30-year back-tested trend zone. So this is our 25 sim algo zones, these little hashes. We're looking for pullbacks to buy if it's green. We're looking for pullbacks to sell when it is red. This is yesterday, right after news from 8:30. I want to look at the entire session to show you how accurate these zones can be and to incorporate it in your trading plan. What we want to do is we want to look to buy retracements with the overall trend direction. So we don't counter trend trade the market. So we're going with the overall push in the market. We do not want to go with the counter trend traders. They create our order flow. We're looking for a pullback into these zones, which I'll blow up in a second. So you can see that our trend zone was green. This is the 1-100 Unirinco trend zone. And it was green all day. So what we want to do is we want to see the market then show these red candles on retracements, red candles on retracements, red candles retracements, retracement, retracement, with a nice retracement to close for a nice push. That's the idea, is we're trying to buy and sell retracements where the money, where the smart algos, what they're trying to do, they're trying to catch the wrongly positioned traders inside these zones and reverse them. Catch them, reverse them. Catch them, reverse them. Catch them, reverse them, so on. These are very leading zones. So if I look at yesterday, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zones, 6 in a row that came out of these zones yesterday, these projected zones. And that was 2 days ago. We had 5 in a row from 8:30 to 4 o'clock. So let's blow this up and take a look at it and make sure we're on the same page and look at these zones individually. And then I want to move on to the longer zone, show you how you can redo those also. So what you want to do, these zones are projected. This is my 25 zone, this buy zone. There's the high of the zone. There's a low of the zone. Price cannot, when it gets inside of these zones, right when it gets inside of it by one candle close, it cannot close outside that zone, not even by one candle. If it closes outside of the zone by one candle, there's no trade set up. It must come inside of the zone and then get what's called a reversal candle, or I call it a V bottom. Once that V bottom comes in place, you have an opportunity to get long the market right after the V bottom with your stop and your targets using Chart Trader. Or you can turn our automated strategy on, which is the Sim Tick Algo, liquidity grab algo, and it will wait for the first distortion in price. This is a liquidity grab. First distortion in price. After it closes, it will get long right there at 93 3/4. Okay, that's the first trade. Let's go to the second trade. Market rallies up right after New York Open. Starts retracing at my time of day trade. 940, we all know, is one of my time of day trades where this market likes to move. 940 to 950, looking for a big pronounced move. We come inside of down to the zone. Again, here's the top of the zone. Let me move this out of the way. There was the top of the zone. There's the bottom end of the zone. Price starts sticking inside of the zone. Tick, 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 tick. Look where it comes. Comes to the bottom end of the zone, does not close at all outside the zone, looking for a reversal candle or a V bottom. We get the V bottom. There's your entry right there. 93.5, got as high as 05. 12 S&P point potential run in a matter of 6 minutes. Or what you can wait is after V bottoms, turn my automated strategy on after you get a V bottom inside the zone. And it's going to wait for the first distortion in price. That's a liquidity grab. First distortion in price, wait till it closes. The automated algo would have got you long at 95 1/4, plus or minus a couple ticks. and it got as high as 550, 10 S&P point runs. That's the second trade. Third trade comes along, gets inside the zone, pops, gets inside the zone, really runs on this one. Look, it doesn't close below the zone here, it doesn't close below the zone here. This one was a real nice one at 1043, 58.96, got as high as 36.75, right? 40 S&P point run. We just saw a 40 point run yesterday and a 25 point run the day before. Or you can get long in the V bottom here and trail your position, or wait for the first distortion in price right there and look for the run. We come in, and this is what I talked on the mic yesterday. I talked in the mic about this yesterday. I said, what happens on these big parabolic moves? This is a parabolic move. Obviously, a parabolic move is climax buying. Climax buying is defined when these markets move 20, 30, 40, 50 S&P points straight up in a matter of half hour, 45 minutes. And it sure did, right out of my zone. Then we look for a continuation. It came right down to my zone again, right there at 12:45. That's a time of day trade. I educate traders. The algos like to kick back in. They like to take off right after 11:15. Volume slows down. Likes to kick back in around 12:45 to 12:50, time of day trade. Sure enough, got a V bottom right inside of my buy zone at 59.31 a quarter, and she got as high as 59.44. Another 10 plus positive S&P points on the nice run. Then we come in. It tries to get into this buy zone, but look, it closes outside the low of the buy zone by one candle. Does not qualify the trade. Still green. This is when we get the deep zone run. This is where the deep zone run came in. Look at this deep zone run. Look how my zone called it out. Our proprietary zone was projected right here starting at 12:32. It took over and 12, 1, 2, 3. Took 3 hours to get down to my zone. I'm not sorry, 12:32. What time was that? 4:32, sorry. It took an hour to get down to my zone. Got down to my zone, did not break the low, gave a reversal candle, which is a V bottom. That started the big run right there from 26.5. V bottom, where you can enter, trail, or wait for the first distortion in price. And we got a nice little big run into the close. So if you look at yesterday, if we look at yesterday, those are all the trades right in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is, I don't hold anything back from you guys. I'll show you the exact settings. 1:135 Unirenko. My indicators on this chart, I got my proprietary Simrenko algo NT8, 25. Those are my shallow liquidity grabs with the 62.28 ATR. And then I got a 100 as my Unirenko trend to keep the trend nice and smooth. Now, what I talked about yesterday on the microphone, what did I tell you guys? If we get outside of HVNLVA, what sim zone do they like to bring it down to historically when it goes parabolic like this? 15, 20, 30, 40 S&P points straight up. It likes to recover for continuation. What happens, it likes to come down to my 35 zone. I talked about this yesterday, hours before it happened. 2 hours before it happened, actually. I talked about this at 8:30 in the morning. I said, if we come down to my 35 zone, it's continuation. Sim zone algo, 35 zone continuation. It's the 1135 chart on the NYMEX. I love the NYMEX, putting it right beside the 24/7 chart. The NYMEX starts printing fresh supply demand zones. These don't qualify if it doesn't close on a retracement. Didn't qualify, but this one came right inside of my zone. And it went from 95.75, and it shot that 40 plus S&P point run right into the close. Stopped right at the 35 continuation. What it did in the morning, had some nice trades. Stopped at my 100 value, almost 90, down to 82, 8 S&P, 89 down to, what was it, 84 and some change. But it was green all day. The great thing about these 100, 200 zones and 35 zones on your other deeper liquidity grabs, if it's with trend zone, watch out. Watch for an extended move. Okay? So this morning, what we're doing, are we in an uptrend or downtrend? We are in an uptrend. What are we trying to do? We're trying to let it come down to a zone. Here's our buy zone. Keep it simple. There's our buy zone. We got a major heads up. These zones you get a major heads up on. Sometimes you have an hour in the deeper zone, heads up, 15, 20, 30-minute heads up on some of these. Once it gets inside zone, it has qualified, give you a V-bottom reversal. You can get in with the V-bottom chart trader, it in and trail, or use our automated trader, automated algorithm to trail your position. That's how you put it all together, guys. That's how you put it all together.